Hello, and thank you for watching my video. Welcome to another in the Elite Specialization series, and today we're going to be looking at the Dragon Hunter. Well, the Dragon Hunter has not had a very good start to an Elite spec. I'll start off with the name. I'm not going to cover it too much. The Dragon Hunter, bit generic, not really Guild Wars 2-ish, but the devs have their reasons for calling it that, so we're just going to go with it. As you can see here, the Dragon Hunter, the Guardian, actually gets a longbow. The Warrior is the other Elite spec, and that actually already has a longbow, so the Guardian's also getting one, and it's changing the Guardian to be a very ranged character. Now, the Guardian before actually had things like the Staff and Scepter. They were the mainly sort of medium damage or medium distance weapons. Obviously, it has a lot like the Greatsword, which can go in and do a lot of damage, and so that's what I'm running on here. Now, if we actually look at what Dragon Hunter has done, it's given us a lot of new options, not just the longbow. But let's look at the longbow. First of all, you get a fire and arrow that can bounce to enemies behind your target. If an arrow hits a second target, all enemies struck are crippled. Very good if you're taking on multiple enemies. If you're 1v1, it might not be so great. However, it would be useful against things like Minion Masters, where you can cripple many different targets. You can also take on, for example, the Scrapper, the Engineer with its gyros, drones, etc. Even Rangers with its pets. You know, you can get the ability to hit over the pet and the opponent. So it can be pretty useful. True Shot, charge up energy, creating a powerful attack. So you press it here, it charges up, and bam. It does a quite fair amount of damage, 2,200 on this build. By the way, I'm just running a Zerka build with Rune of the Scholar. Excuse me. I haven't changed any of the amulets or anything like that. Skill 4, fire a slow, arching arrow that explodes on impact to burn targets and sear a symbol of energy into the ground, which gives anybody in that vicinity of your allies vigor. So we've got burning, and it's a significant amount of burning for 5 seconds. So let's have a look. You've got a fair amount of range here, so you can target from that range. You can see there, boom, and that's a fire field. Nice. Oh, not a fire field, but it's a light field, sorry. So again, you can do a bit of healing in there. But let's have a look, just targeting some of the auto attack. So this is on Zerka, so we're doing some auto attacking damage here. Not bad, not in that, it knocks them back. It keeps knocking him back. So that was quite handy. Alright, so that's the auto attack there on the longbow. Skill 5. Form your arrows into a barrier and deal damage at the location. So you do an initial damage and then a final impact damage. So you have 5 barriers. Let's see how this works. You fire it like that. And it's very similar to the Ranger skill Barrage. And you get that final explosion. You have a 6-second duration around the ring. So yes, it's crippling your opponents. Actually very, very similar to the way Barrage works on Ranger. So that's the longbow skills. I've actually gone for Greatsword on my other weapon here. But before I go on to the utilities, let's talk about the virtues. Now the virtues have changed, all 3 virtues. The first one is becomes a spear. Instead of the fist where you grant burning on every attack, this one you actually, when you activate it, hurls a spear of light that passes through foes. Enemies struck become tethered and receive burning periodically. Now you can see all these burning stacks that we actually have. You can adjust it for how long you want or how many targets you want to do. So if we target this guy here, he's just out of range unfortunately. Oh, he's going to come back now. Let's run away. Right, so the burning does strike periodically. So that's not too bad. The F2 skill, normally it's the regen, really important one, but this time it becomes a leap to a target in the area. Here, healing the allies. Now they've actually extended the range in which you can jump here, so let's try this out. So you get this massive leap and you get to stomp down and pump out a lot of healing at the end of it. So you can remove the immobilize, which is pretty cool. You grant retaliation and regen as well. So not a bad little move to have if you do get immobilized and you want to get out of that particular spot. The F2 skill really will get you out of that clutch in a moment's notice. Shield of Courage, usually granting Aegis. This time it grants a shield in front of you that blocks projectiles for you and your allies. Grant Aegis to nearby allies. So if we press F3, you get that shield that you move around with your mouse. And this is pretty cool. Very, very important strategically for blocking projectiles. Very, very crucial in certain maps. So let's look at this Parasite Devourer. Let's use the F1 skill. So there we go. You can see the auto attack is actually running through. Now he's suffering burning periodically because I'm tethered to him. So that's why he's struggling there. And then if we do the skill 4, boom, and he suffered burning. And there you go. It's getting damaged. He's down. So there we go. Let's move on now. We've covered the traits, the virtues and the skills. We've got the traits and the utilities to come. The healing skill is a trap. Heal yourself and imbue your light into a trap. Enemies that trigger this trap are damaged and blinded as the light returns to you for a second heal. Now, if you look at this, the initial heal isn't very much at all. And this is what's one of the downsides. You get a small heal, and you've got to hope that enemies come towards you, and then you'll get a much bigger heal. It's a trigger of 180 radius, but it attacks 240 radius. It does give you a lot, and also blinds for 6 seconds. Really good in those, if you think fractals with a lot of damaging warriors. If you, for example, the one where you become a char and you have to take on and fight in that battle against humans. This one here, this actual skill will be very, very useful. Fragments of Faith. Lay a trap that deals damage and unleashes multiple fragments into the area when triggered. Each fragment grants Aegis to allies as long as they don't already have Aegis. So this is one where if, for example, you activate, if an enemy runs across, they'll get crippled, and then not only that, you'll get these fragments which will shatter all over the place. And let's see if we'll actually be able to pick them up and grant Aegis. So what we're going to do, we'll put it down here. Fragments of Faith. We'll hope for someone will come and get us. We'll let that one come back. We'll come back to that one when someone activates it. Procession of Blades. This is a really cool trap, actually. Set a trap that whirls around and damages enemies when activated. So it gets this cool little whirl around. So actually, we'll try it out on this guy here. He's going to come towards us, right? Come on. Come on. Here we go. There you go. So you see the whirl, and look at that damage. Pretty cool. The other one as well. You can see all these little shards of Aegis that if we walk over it, we actually get it. So you can see here he's going to attack, and I blocked it. But the Aegis shards don't last for too long. So it's a great way to give Aegis to your party members. The next one, lay down a trap that creates an area of pure light that reveals enemy and pierces their armor. Phenomenal for PvP and world versus world. This is going to be traps all over the place because you'll be able to reveal thieves and mesmers. So this is going to be a crucial trap and can really reveal a thief and put them at a massive disadvantage. Here we go again. You've got this massive skill which you've just seen, which was my elite skill, and I'll quickly talk about that. For me, it's one of the best animations out there for traps. This is lay a trap that pulls enemies in and creates a barrier that holds them in place. It slows them down, and they are stuck for around 6 seconds. A really great skill to have, and a trap that can do a significant amount of damage. So you can see here, I'm just finishing off this Devourer. I'm on Zerker gear, so you can see it's not taking too long. If we go back in with the Great Swords, we'll finish them off. We'll give you a bit of an idea of the damage difference. So that's that. So we've covered all the different utilities. We've covered the virtues, and we covered the longbow skills. Let's have a look at the traits. Now, bear in mind that the traits aren't perfect. I've not done any of these. These are the default ones you actually get, but you can change them around. So you can have Virtue, Honor, Zeal, Radiance. So I've gone for Virtues and Zeal. Well, it's already there. But let's take a look at the Dragon Hunter traits. So obviously that talks about the changes to Dragon Hunter. We get Wings of Resolve, deliver an attack upon landing, and also immobilizes them. Enemies you knock back are crippled. Enemies you cripple are also inflicted with vulnerability. So it's that extra thing where you cripple them, and then you can inflict vulnerability for 8 seconds, increases condition and normal damage. Or traps daze enemies when activating, have reduced recharge times. This would probably be much better because if you look here, it's 45-second cooldown. Now it becomes 36. A dramatic change. So you want to take Piercing Light if you are running traps. Blocking an attack causes Justice to reach its maximum charge. That will be here, the Spear of Justice. We then have Bulwark. Shield of Courage is laster and lasts longer. Shield of Courage would be, is that I believe on the shield? Yes. So Shield of Courage, that's the, Shield of Courage is this one here, the F3 skill. So it is larger and lasts longer. So that's a good one to take actually. Deal extra damage to crippled enemies. Justice's passive effect, it affects crippled enemies. That's one there. Hunter's Determination. So grant Aegis and drop a Fragments of Faith trap at your location when you're inflicted with stun, daze, knockback, pull. Again, this is pretty cool. You actually help lay down a trap inflicting daze. You can see here, because I've traded for it, it gets the cripple and it gives you a load of Aegis out that you or your party members can pick up. I think that one's probably the best bulwark, just generally because it gives you that extra bit of relief against enemies. Deal bonus damage to enemies beyond the range threshold, and this is where I was having a discussion with several of my guildies, and we're talking about whether or not, you know, the Dragon Hunter, do you want to take it as a ranged, you know, a ranged weapon? You could take it, for example, if you go for Greatsword, if you go in and attack close down, then you're actually going to do 10% less damage because you're in the range threshold, and it's very disappointing. I'm not a big fan of this. It's encouraging you to be a ranged attacker, but at the same time, it kind of means that if you go in close for the kill, you're going to lose that extra damage. Big Game Hunter, striking an enemy tethered by your Spear of Justice causes vulnerability and increases damage by 10%. So by using F1 and getting tethered, you will be able to do more damage to an opponent. Longbow arrows knock back when enemies are within range thresholds. Gain stability when you knock an enemy back. This is really, really great for people wanting to build up that stability. You'll be able to pick this and you'll be able to knock back, get stability, and then you will be in the range of the threshold, almost in the range of the threshold for that 10% damage. So that can be quite useful. It's also very good, you know, for removing, for getting, well, the changes to Defiance, but the Defiance bar using this will really get, you'll be able to lower that Defiance bar pretty quickly. Remove conditions when blocking attacks. Receive less damage when you have no conditions on you. That is awesome. Having 10% less damage and being able to remove conditions when you block. Think about the block skills that you run. You could run a shield, or you could run focus, and being able to block a lot, and you just get a lot of extra health. A lot of extra. You can get a lot of damage reduction by blocking attacks, or you remove conditions when you block attacks. Sorry. Think about against necromancers. You know, they'll be able to try and inflict a load of conditions. You just block them away, and bam, you'll be able to, like, yep, I'm removing that condition, removing that condition, removing that condition. Every second, 1 second cooldown. Really, really good. So that's the Dragon Hunter traits. Generally, you know, the Dragon Hunter is a bit underwhelming. It's the Guardian, as it, you know, as a position now, it's okay. The Guardian, sorry, in its current state, is a really fundamental build. You know, a lot of people need Guardians. You know, if you're running fractals, Guardians are pretty much a necessity at level 50. And the Guardian in the Dragon Hunter form, I can't see too much. You know, the Dragon Hunter, it's not a phenomenal elite spec. And, you know, there are going to be elite specializations like that. But for me, the Dragon Hunter, not great, but okay. It's okay. It's a change to the profession that if people wanted to run it, they can. And, you know, it gives them a option if they want to. So that's my opinion on the Dragon Hunter. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I did forget one trap, by the way. It's this one here. Test of Faith. Layer a trap that creates a ring of weapons that punish enemies that cross their threshold. It just cripples them. It's that underwhelming that, you know, I didn't bother to really cover it, to be honest. You know, I was talking to one of the guys that was doing a raid, and we're talking about he's running Dragon Hunter, but he's not running traps. It's yeah, it really, the Dragon Hunter overall, it's not bad. It's a very interesting take on an elite spec, but it's yeah, it's just a bit I think that pretty much covers it. Thanks for watching my video. Please feel free to leave any comments, and I'll see you on the next one.